Hey warriors. So I did my last video was on inner child work. So sorry, I'm trying to be quiet. My husband's sleeping. But anyways, I was going to tell you about, my experience with inner child work. I wrote it all down so I forget to tell you, but or everything I wanted to tell you, but it changed my life, my relationships, my, you know, everything, my awakening, the way I show up in this world. Um, and it's what saved me, not meditation, not affirmations, not manifestations, not bypassing the pain with positivity. Um, you know, it was sitting down with the younger version of me, the one who never got what she needed, the one who, never, anyways, it was doing that, sitting down and, finally, telling her the truth she had been waiting her entire life to hear, you know. For most of my life, I walked around thinking I was strong, because I had survived everything. But it wasn't strength, it wasn't strong. I was shut down, I was armored, guarded, Um, I was braced for impact 24/7, because that's all I knew. And most of, the most painful part was I didn't even realize I was doing it, you know, because when you grow up around people who, can't protect you, you learn not to expect protection, you know. When you grow up in chaos, chaos becomes normal. You learn self-reliance, that, and that feels like strength, but it's actually fear in disguise, you know. Um, the day everything shifted was the day I finally asked myself, what does my younger self actually feel? What did she actually go through? And I let her answer. I let her cry. I let her talk, shake, rage. Um, I let her tell me everything she had been carrying alone for decades. And I listened, and I realized something I'd never realized before. She wasn't broken. She wasn't abandoned. She wasn't dramatic or terrified. She was overwhelmed and unsupported, you know? And she wasn't asking me to be perfect. She's just asking me to be present, you know? Um, the real healing, when I finally looked that little girl inside me in the eyes, you know, the one who learned to survive instead of feel, and I told her, like I told you guys in the video, you weren't wrong, you weren't imagining it, you weren't too sensitive or in the way, you weren't a burden, um, you were a child in situations no child should have been in, and then I'm here now. I won't leave you, and I will protect you the way no one protected us. In that moment, everything changed. The triggers didn't disappear overnight, but they softened. My reaction slowed down, my nervous system unclenched, you know, I stopped defaulting to fear, you know, um, defensiveness or panic. It was like, my soul finally fucking exhaled, you know, because the little girl in me finally felt safe. I'm sharing this with you because some of you think, you know, your awakening is stuck. Some of you think that you're doing something wrong or not healing fast enough. But I'm telling you now, You cannot become your higher self while your younger self is still hurting. And let me just tell you, who out there can say they don't have a younger self that got hurt by something? None of us can. Every single one of us has something going on when we were a child. Children can be ruthless and not on purpose. They're just honest. Your inner child holds the key, like I said, to your intuition, your ability to trust, your ability to love, your body to feel safe, depending on your situation. You can meditate or pull tarot, like I said, meditate for hours, read every damn book, listen to every guide. But healing is not going to click until you go back for that child version of you. You need to go sit with your inner child. You may think you're going back to save them, but the truth is, they're the ones who's going to save you. Legends. I love you.